Hello Virgo, thank you for joining me for your monthly forecast for October for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Your ruling planet Mercury is going to be a key player this month. On the 3rd, it enters into the sign of Scorpio. Now Scorpio, of course, is passionate and it's penetrative. So your thinking from that point can show flashes of inspiration, but particularly because Mercury goes into an opposition with Uranus in the sign of Taurus for the following 5 days. So some exciting exchanges, look forward to them. They can really get your mental juices working. You can be really creative across those days. Also, Pluto ends a retrograde on the 3rd, which has been going on for 5 months, and that's in your sector of self-expression. Pluto is also, of course, not just about transformation, it is about power. And the 5th house for you is about romance, about children. It's about the things that you enjoy maybe being a little bit more daring around. So the retrograde may have brought some more political issues to bear around some of those areas. So it's good news, it's going forwards. Of course, Jupiter, the planet of growth and optimism, well, that does continue in your sector of the home and family. But Jupiter and Pluto are forging a magnificent link for the whole of this month. If you want to grow your family, if you want to have people around for a party, if you want to work from home on a creative venture, this combination can only bring good stuff your way, because when Jupiter and also Pluto are collaborating well, there is a real chance for something quite significant to develop. Now, since April, the North Node, which is the emotional pull of the heavens, it's a nominal point, but it's in Cancer. Well, that's been in an opposition with Saturn. Saturn, like Pluto, is in your 5th house. I have to say, since the end of 2017, you may have got married, you may have met someone you feel deeply committed to, but if there has been a relationship that's been less joyful, it may have bumped along the bottom since Saturn started its transit. And Saturn opposite the North Node, which is in a very idealistic part of your scope, very much to do with the future or your friendships, well, that actually has probably created a real sense of limitation at times, or a feeling that the joy has been squeezed out of certain situations. Well, from the 10th, that's going to lift. Now, Saturn moving through the sign of Capricorn for you does mean you have to work very hard at the things that you believe in and you're investing energy in. But it is going to be moving on in March the 20th, 2020. It will go into Aquarius. It will be coming back later into Capricorn. But really from now through till that time, it's a time for you to really invest as much energy and self-discipline in the things that are important to you. Now, on the 4th of this month, Mars moves out of your sign, where it's been for the previous 6 weeks and been giving you a lot of drive and determination and willpower, and relocates into the sign of Libra. Now, I can only be honest, Mars is in detriment in Libra, but that doesn't mean to say it's going to be all bad. I think your focus, your desire with the Sun and Venus through till day 8, and then Mars, all in the sign of a Libra, is going to see you wanting to see tangible rewards for your hard work. You want to see firmer foundations. But Mars is more lusty, so it can give you a more sensual dimension. So intimacy may be something that you yearn for, or perhaps it's an item that's a bit luxurious. Or if you like to live in a very natural, organic way, it could be that some kind of ambition to have more land to grow your own vegetables on could come to pass. So it just depends on what your direct focus is, but Mars gives you more desire. But it's also asking you to have more self-confidence in your self-worth, and that's a good thing. However, from the 5th to the 11th, the Sun clashes with Saturn. Now this just suggests to you that if you are wanting to be a bit more speculative in your approach, and as a zodiac sign, you're somebody who's probably super cautious in terms of checking out risk, because you like to drill down into the detail, analyse what the potential gains are, weigh up what the return can be and what the loss could be too. So you're very discriminating and very shrewd very often. But this particular influence suggests that if you do decide to be a bit more free-spirited with your resources, or you try to spoil someone that you're closely involved with, it could be a child, it could be a partner, or if there is someone you're drawn to, you're tempted to do some kind of big gesture to impress them. I wouldn't do any of those things. This is a time to be eminently conservative with your resources, because if you do step outside what really feels right at a more sensible end of the scale, I just feel that you won't necessarily enjoy it anyway. It could mean that you feel a bit more inhibited, especially around your love life. And because the Sun then goes on to go into a right angle with Pluto, and Pluto moving through your 5th solar house since 2008, well, again here, it's just gauging the worth of the situation. So that's what the Sun and that is what Mars are asking you to do. Understand the true value. And that doesn't necessarily equate only in terms of money. So if there is somebody that you're drawn to that you really fancy, but there's some kind of complication with it, or they come from a completely different background where your values don't really gel, don't just try to disregard this. Think about it very carefully. And the more you do, use that very careful thought process, which is so important to your core of your being, the better you will do. Now there is another change on the 9th as Venus moves into the sign of Scorpio. Now this suggests that your words can take on a rather seductive dimension for the rest of the month. So if there is somebody that you're drawn towards getting to know, even though there is this kind of risk-averse atmosphere at the core of this month, just be sure that what you say is really what you mean. Venus goes into an opposition with Uranus too, which can tempt you to be a bit more outspoken, a little bit more daring, weirdly, but particularly about your ideas, and that can be a very positive thing. But just take it all back down to your core values. If you stay within your core values, you won't go at all wrong. Because do you know, there is a gorgeous link between the Sun and Jupiter from the 10th through to the 17th. And this suggests that something really good can happen around your home life. Perhaps there's going to be a stroke of fortune. And if you do have something good happen to you, you'll want to share it with those that are most meaningful to you. But then again, somebody in your family can be very generous. There could be some kind of good news story right at the heart of this month, and that's fabulous. But then on the 24th, it's the Sun's turn to catch up with Mercury and also Venus and glide into the deep and passionate Scorpio. It too is going to go into an opposition with Uranus. And this can give you a desire to investigate new ideas, technology, go on a travel expedition, but perhaps one that's really planned hardly at all. It could be a completely impulsive desire just to break out and do something different. And actually a change can really be as good as a rest. There's also a gorgeous new moon on the 28th, and that is going to forge a great angle to Uranus as well. So things can speed up in your situation as this month goes on, but the full moon, which occurs on the 14th at the heart of the month, does dissect or Pluto, the planet of passion, the planet of secrets, the planet of power, is going to come into conflict with this particular full moon in the sign of Aries. So what I would say to you about this is that if your desire is to invest money, to get to know someone at a more intimate level, get up close and personal, what Pluto's just saying to you is just be aware of what the motivations are, yours and theirs. If you can nail this and still work out the percentages and they suit you and you have a clear and open discussion with them, you could have the most amazing connection which could really get very intimate. But equally, if you're looking to build a business alliance with someone and you've got great ideas working around between you, the politics of it has to feel comfortable to you. Because you see, from the last 10 days of this month, Virgo, Mars is going to be clashing with Saturn. Mars in your second house, Saturn in your fifth house. If you desire something too quick, don't do the planning, don't go through due diligence, go for it in a bit of a rush, which you can see Uranus could push you to do at some points this month, then it may be that you're going to bang your proverbial knee because it hasn't quite been thought through in the way that will make you really feel comfortable. Now, your ruler, Mercury, decides to go retrograde on the very last day of this month. That's very generous of Mercury. And Mercury is androgynous, so it's neither male or female. But it could mean that a mode of transport that's proved reliable for you until now may be something you're going to think of replacing, or there may be some technology you're going to look at. I'm very passionate about Mercury retrograde. Yes, of course it causes glitches at airports and ports, and sending parcels and emails and text messages go wrong and software fails, all that stuff happens. But also it's remarkable the amount of things that personally I sort out that haven't quite been working around those things when Mercury is regressing. So as this month draws to a close, yes, choosing your words carefully, being conscious of your modes of communication is going to be important, but there may be something that you can revise and refresh, not least because Mercury, Venus and the Sun moving into your third house, which is very quick-witted, it's very speedy, it's cerebral, it's mercurial, but it's also Scorpio. So the conversations you have can be revealing. And with Uranus in the mix, surprising in some very uplifting and positive ways. But I just feel because there is that challenge that's going on right through the spine of this month to the things that bring joy to you against what's of true value to you. If you were drawn to someone, for example, that really seemed beautiful and perhaps was very well off, look at what's in their heart. Really be driven by that, and that will protect and guide you in the right kind of way. Equally, if you encounter someone who doesn't seem to have an awful amount in their life of a material value, but has such a warmth and joy, then stay close. Take that opportunity very seriously. If you'd like to order your year 2020 personal horoscope based on your time, date and place of birth, and you click on the link beneath this video and buy a character analysis too, I'll give you a 30% discount, plus from the time you buy it this year, I'll give you all of this year free, as well as the whole of the 12 months of next year too. But for now, it's been a pleasure being with you. Good luck and goodbye.